know that you were coming to PW camp?
No, I didn't know it. Maybe some of the officers did. I didn't know.
What was your rank?
Hmm?
What was your rank when you were there?
I was sergeant.
What sergeant?
Yeah. So, well, I was T4. Technician, 4th grade.
What was your main job? I mean, what was your occupation in the service?
Well, I was in communications. I was actually pole line construction is what my job really was.
Mm-hmm.
But it entailed all sorts of communications up to the front, including field wire and cable and all that up to the front.
Yeah. Sort of just start from the beginning. Kind of just give me sort of a narrative of your
Well,
when you went in, and because obviously you have. Where were you born?
I was born here in Brazos County on a farm, and.
But your name implies to me that you have German heritage.
Yes, that's right.
Well, take me back to there. Your parents, they German or?
My grandparents all came from Germany. Of course, that was back in the around 1850s and so forth. My parents were born here and all that. So I was drafted from the farm, and it was such a rush to try to make a soldier out of everybody at that time, and they had an old time trying to make a soldier out of a plow hand, so we had it pretty rough there during basic training and all, especially some of these lantern-jawed sergeants we had, they really made it rough for me.
It was hard to make a plow hand into a soldier, but you did it.
Yeah, we did. Well, they threatened us with a court-martial and a firing squad and all that. We disobeyed any orders.
So you understood me.
You joined the cavalry.
Well, cavalry.
You rode horses then.
Well, they didn't have horses then.
Okay, so what branch were you in? Did you get drafted into?
I was in the 433rd Signal Construction Battalion.
Okay.
And we
the Army.
Yeah. Well, it was Army Air Corps at that
Army
time.
Air Corps.
Yeah.
Okay.
We trained in California.
So you went straight from Bryan to California.
Well, from here we went. Of course, I went to Houston and San Antonio and to Spokane, Washington, and back to Reno, and then to California, which was our main base. And we trained all up and down the West Coast in Washington, mostly in Queets. That was over on the Pacific Coast in an Indian reservation. And the Indians were even a little hostile at that time. They didn't think much about our coming onto their reservation there.
Yeah.
But from there we came on back to California, and then when we finished our training, went to plumb across country to Newport News, Virginia. Got on the ship to go overseas. Well, to digress a little bit, I had contracted German measles, and it settled in my throat. And I
Korean
had awful time. I don't know what it was, but my throat was so bad that I was afraid if I reported it that I wouldn't get to go overseas with my outfit. So I didn't say anything about it. I just suffered through it. And I got on the ship at Newport News, Virginia, and we sailed up the coast to Newfoundland, to St. John's Harbor, Newfoundland. and waited there a couple of days because there was a report of submarines, German subs, a pack of submarines out there. So when we got all clear and a couple destroyers to escort us, we started out across the North Atlantic. We were on the Santa Paula. It was an old converted passenger liner. We were supposed to have 1,600 people on that, but we had 3,200 because we were supposed to have a bunk every other night. My partner got so sick he couldn't get out of bed, so I never had a bunk the whole time I was there. I just went out on the deck and stayed there, and it was cold. It was raining and near freezing the entire time. Storm, I guess the waves were about 50 feet high, and we were right on the back end of this ship. It would, the front end would go down, the back end would come up so high that the propellers would come plumb out of the water and flop, 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 then come back down and dip water. And I was trying to sleep out there on the deck. Blankets all got wet, and my shoes floated away, and took 2 weeks to cross the North Atlantic because about every, 30 minutes, I guess, they'd blow this horn and we'd change direction. We zigzagged across the North Atlantic to, I guess, on account of the submarines. Once in a while, the submarine would veer off out there and throw depth charges. We finally landed in Liverpool after 2 weeks. And
You left Virginia, is that right?
Yeah.
You left Virginia, landed in
Newport
News,
yeah.
and landed in Liverpool. It took about 2 weeks after you finished zigzagging.
Yeah.
It was destroyers, though, that went out there and threw the depth.
Yeah,
charges,
right, yeah.
Not submarines.
No.
Yeah. They were throwing them at the
Submarine.
Right.
Well, I had a couple of beers there, so I...
But I was in the Navy.
Okay.
So we continued training in England till we knew something was about to happen when we went to our staging area down close to London. Of course, all the time we were there, we had air raids every night. And well, I'll come to that.
The question is, did he speak German overseas?
Yeah. Well,
Did you?
I did a little bit. I did a little interpreting in for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm going to ask you that you were obviously pretty valuable from that standpoint, from communication standpoint. So you landed in Liverpool, and you just pretty much waited there until
D-Day.
Now, how was it determined who went over on day one, and what order you went in?
Well, that's something that was something that was completely oblivious to us. Now, of course, the higher echelon knew something, but the soldiers didn't know where they were going or when they were going. We never knew where we were.
Yes.
We weren't supposed to know anything.
You knew you were in England somewhere.
We knew where we were in England, but we didn't know when we were going to France or whether we were even going to France.
You were going to France. That was the whole point of it. It was a surprise.
I know that when we were in the staging area and close to London, fixing to go to France, we had an air raid there one night. Barracks started rattling, and mess kids were falling off the walls, and the bombs were falling, and some officer stuck his head in the door and he said, "Grab your helmets and hit the woods." So I grabbed my helmet. I didn't have my breeches, so I grabbed my helmet and went out there and found a log. I settled down by it, and about that time I looked up, flares were all coming down on me. Everything was bright as day, and I heard this loud plop. Came down about, I guess it was probably 50 yards from me, I don't know. But we had heard at that time that some of this forced labor, from the concentration camps were sabotaging some of the munition factories. And I just looked up and I said, "Lord, are you still there?" He said, "Yes, that was a tut, and that was a dud." And it was. It happened to be a dud that fell so close to him. A dud. It didn't explode. No, that was in England, in the staging area. Before we went. Yeah. Yeah. Then we went to, got on this LCT on the 16th of June and went across. Still didn't know what we was getting into till I saw this pile of bloody blankets on the ship. They were shuttling back and forth so fast, carrying the wounded or the dead back, and said, "Oh my, what am I getting into here?" But when we finally got off the landing craft, it was late in the afternoon, and we got lost. Didn't know where to go to meet the rest of our outfit. But when we heard all this machine gun rattling and everything, we knew we had gone too far. We came back a little ways and spent the night in a thorny ditch right next to a 155 millimeter artillery piece. It went off all night long, and every time it did, we jump up and down. Still think that was a crazy thing, a place to stop, because the Germans could have zeroed in on that artillery, and we'd have been right there.
So on D10, what were the conditions then? Did you land on the beach?
Yeah, we landed
just like we've seen in the
water,
in the film before, in the water.
Yeah, and then of course, they had.
But you didn't get shot at when you.
No.
When you were going on.
But the shells were still falling in the harbor.
Right.
We could see the.
So no, you knew you were in combat at that time.
We knew we were there. Yeah.
You knew you were there. There were bullets flying somewhere. Yeah.
So all around St. Lo, and there's where our Air Force bombed all of our own troops. He was, you know about that, I guess.
Yeah, the friendly fire.
I saw all of that. I was on the hilltop looking down and saw all of that taking place. But after that, it was just planes everywhere.
Did you know that the overall mission of why you were there was to end the war, was the final push through Europe? I mean, you knew that was the objective.
Yeah, we knew that.
That was the higher-ups' objective was, this is it. We're going to push through and we're going to defeat this guy.
One thing about it, during World War II, everyone was concerned about gas being used. We had trained...
Gasoline, petrol.
No.
Gas.
Poison gas.
Oh, okay.
Poison gas.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We had specially trained for that, and had to carry impregnated clothing everywhere we went, and our gas mask was the most important part of our equipment. We had that all the time, and stressed on us to always have your gas mask handy. So in the bivouac there in France one night, a truck turned over or something that spilled some gas and some fumes spread around there. And pretty soon we heard this gas alarm going off from one camp to the other. all this gas line. Everybody got concerned and looked for their gas masks and all, and this person that I was camping with, he got out of his foxhole and he started running. He said, "My God, it's all in my hole." Gas is all in my hole. And it turned out somebody had used Vicks Vapor Rub. That's one of the lighter sides of the.
Wasn't too funny at the time.
No, no, it wasn't funny for him. Of course, after we broke through and Patton made this mad rush to Paris, while we were right behind him, right with him, you know. And
now, where was your unit headed? Where eventually, on what path did it go? Because, as I understand it, from Normandy, we went in different directions.
Well, yeah, we put our communications on different areas where it was needed, all around to the front and to the different bases, our bases and all that required our communications.
Right.
Of course, when we entered Paris, well, that was really a sight to see, with all the people lined up, you know, to greet us, and all the women and everything. It was really something. So we stopped there in Paris for a couple of days and had a little rest. From there we worked all through Belgium in the mud. It rained all the time.
Yeah.
It was terrific.
You never got to sleep on any dry blankets?
No, no dry blankets.
Was it hard to stay well? Hard to stay healthy?
Well, we had so many shots that we couldn't get sick.
Yeah.
We were.
Now, how did you come across the concentration camp? Talk about that. What led you there? Why did the path just take you by there?
Of course, no, that was after the war was pretty well over.
Okay.
For us, and we went to what was finally East Germany, way over in East Germany, to Weimar. That's where this concentration camp was. And of course, it was still occupied by the Germans. And when we went up there, they had quickly evacuated the place. They were all gone, and left us with all this evidence that we saw here, and the few inmates that were there. And I was able to talk to some of them, and they showed me all around and told me all about it and everything.
That's pretty sobering.
Yeah, it really was. And
kind of brought you face to face with what you were over there for, I guess, right?
Then after the war was over in Europe, they had this point system where some of the soldiers could go home, you know, if they had enough points. And that was determined by how long you had been in the service, and how long you had been overseas, and your dependents and all that. I think it was, if it amounted to 119 points, you were eligible to go home. But I didn't have any dependents. I had 149 points. I'd been there so long and everything. But they had given me command of a platoon, and determined that I was essential to their to the Army. And they, of course, at that time we left Germany to go direct to the Pacific, and that's the reason I wasn't able to go home. So we went to Marseille, France, to get a ship to go direct to the Pacific.
How long a trip was that?
Gosh, I don't know. We didn't, we didn't get to go. I was really disappointed a little bit that I
didn't go.
Didn't go. No, during that time, they had used the atomic bomb in Japan, and the war was over. So.
But you were ready to go fight the war.
I was ready to go, and if they hadn't used the bomb, I'm quite sure that I would have been there in the invasion of Japan.
And the war would have lasted a lot longer. Yeah. Most people think. Yeah.
So that's when I came home.
Now, you say you were born here. Where were you born exactly?
Oh, close to Curtin.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Curtin, Texas.
Well, it was Wixon, actually.
Wixon?
Yeah. Which is now Wixon Valley.
And how old are you?
82.
82. Hey there.
Can
we talk to you? Hi there.
The dog got my clip.
Get back.
I got a dog. I don't have a dog, but my uncle had a dog that had one brown eye and one blue eye. Get back. Get back. Get back. Hi there. Get back. You look just like I like you. How you doing? Hi there. Okay, that's good.
She likes radio.
She does? Well, I like her. This is Bravo Brazos Valley, brought to you by Meese and Kahn, attorneys at law, and I'm Tom Turbiville. R.F. Sonny Franze saw World War II from a somewhat different angle, fighting an enemy with whom he shared an ancestry. His grandparents were German-born, but his American-born parents raised him on a farm near what's now Wixon Valley. His training was swift in California, then to Newport News, Virginia, then up the East Coast to Newfoundland. That's where 3,200 soldiers squeezed into a converted ocean liner designed for 1,600. They sailed across the North Atlantic to Liverpool, England. Problem was, Sonny was sick.
I had German measles, and it settled in my throat. But my throat was so bad that I was afraid if I reported it, that I wouldn't get to go overseas, so I didn't say anything about it. I just suffered through it.
Yeah, he was sick and a rough ride at that.
I guess the waves were about 50 feet high. Blankets all got wet and my shoes floated away.
Once in England, Sonny and his outfit waited for what they and the rest of the world would soon realize was the start of the Allies' final push through Europe, the Normandy invasion.
That was something that was completely oblivious to us now. Soldiers didn't know where they were going or when they were going. We never knew where we were. We weren't supposed to know anything.
Franze's 433rd Signal Construction Battalion of the Army Air Corps landed at Normandy on D-10. That was the 10th day after D-Day.
I got on this LCT on the 16th of June and went across. Still didn't know what I was getting into till I saw this pile of bloody blankets on the ship. They were shuttling back and forth so fast, carrying the dead back, and said, "Oh my, what am I getting into here?" You know. But when we finally got off the landing craft, and we got lost, didn't know where to go to meet the rest of our outfit. But when we heard all this machine gun rattling and everything, we knew we had gone too far. We came back a little ways and spent the night in a thorny ditch right next to a 155 millimeter artillery piece. It went off all night long, and every time it did, why we jump up and down.
We'll have more with Sonny Franze right after this.
C. Patrick Meese and Margaret H. Kahn are licensed by the Texas Supreme Court, not certified by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization, and are available for business, construction, family law, wills and probate, personal injuries, discrimination, and criminal cases. Meese and Kahn, attorneys at law. Call 846-9608. They can help. Meese and Kahn, attorneys who care about helping you and helping our community.
What Sonny Franze saw in Europe during the war could fill volumes, not just the combat, but after the fighting stopped. Like a stop-off at the East German concentration camp Buchenwald. That's a site that he's reluctant to recount. They had to make their own light moments during the war, like the time that his camp had a poison gas scare.
We heard this gas alarm going off from one camp to the other. Everybody got concerned and looked for their gas mask and all, and this person that I was camping with, he started running. He said, "My God, it's all in my hole." And it turned out somebody had used Vicks Vapor Rub.
I hope you enjoyed meeting one of our World War II veterans, Sonny Franze. I certainly did. I'm Tom Turbiville. For Meese & Kahn, Attorneys at Law, this is Bravo Brazos Valley.